But then what I see is when the light goes on, the activity of self in your life, the activity of self moves to be the observer of that. Yeah. So at that moment, when you're recognizing self is talking to you, it's claiming to be the one, the you that it's talking to. Yeah. And to me, this is the dynamic, the active dynamic of self can't get out of self. When you start trying to have self-knowledge and put your thumb on it, it moves to the observer. Yeah. While you're observing it, it now claims to be the observer of itself. And then we get stuck in self, can't get out of self. Yeah. So all the philosophy and all the knowledge gets neutered by the self claiming to be the one who's studying the philosophy and knowledge. This is an activity. Yeah. If you start seeing that activity, you see the movement of a snake, so to speak. Now, when that snake feels the light of awareness on it, it claims the light of awareness. And now you get stuck as self looking at the snake of self. Yeah. This hasn't been addressed much in our program. But this is how self stays as self, in a sense, no matter what. Yeah. Because you discover self, you've been beaten by it, you've been driven by it, you've been run over by it twice in my condition, my life. All of this stuff, you now see it, but you're seeing self as self. The claiming of being the seer is so fast without you knowing it. So now you have tons of knowledge of self that's been neutered by self-knowledge, yes? It's like it's a robbery that's happening all day, every day. A robbery that goes on unnoticed mostly. Because the awareness that would bring it into light gets claimed by the same thing that got caught, yeah? The same claiming of life as a snake that gets caught is now claiming to be the one that's seeing the snake light. And so we get caught in the vice of self can't get out of self. So that's which is seen is self and the seer is self. Yeah? Now, was the seeing self? No. The awareness is awareness. I would say that is our nature. Spirit, yeah? Spaciousness, whatever. That's our nature. That sees the information with the understanding of recovery. It gets explained and we finally see what has defeated us. But that gets quickly claimed by that which has defeated us. Yeah? When you start seeing that second reaction, there's freedom, a lot of freedom available there. Because now you're not in the twister, the thumb twister of self trying to get out of self. Yeah? You've seen both aspects. Hallelujah, literally. So remember, the one who's saying it's the seer of self is an aspect of self. Yeah? The self plays the role of seeing and seer. It plays the role of you're thinking about self, and then the self is what's thinking. Yeah? Yes, you see it? If you don't see it, bring it to God or higher power, and please ask for the relief from this bondage. And part of that relief will be seeing it, clearly. It will. Usually when you get relief from a problem, the problem gets described, yeah? When you get relief from a problem, the anatomy of the problem gets revealed quite a lot, yeah? That relief is the greatest teaching. It is, literally. Because it's completely different than bondage, which is bondage is of self, yeah? So self is a binding thing. Relief is the release from binding, yeah? And in that relief, there's a clear seeing of what was binding you. And it's not us. It's not us, yeah? So Let's say you learn you're an alcoholic, and then the alcoholic is now a knowledgeable alcoholic, but there's still an identification. Yes? That's the bondage of self. Self is not the bondage. Self is the bondage of self. So self can't get out of self is the bondage. Yeah? It's not just self, it's self can't get out of self, because that's what it tries to do. When too much light is on it, it moves to be the one who's seeing it. Yeah? It's almost like a shapeshifter, or it can leave one aspect and then move into the other aspect. Yeah, seamlessly almost. It's just a trip. But with an understanding, you'll have an event or many that you see it. Yeah? Build a fucking temple on that event. Yeah, really. Honor that event, because now you have seen the activity of bondage of self. The bondage of self is not you bonded to self, it's self bonded to self. Yeah? You have never been bound. Never, never. All of this shenanigan can only make it appear to be true. It cannot make it true. That's why there is a solution. This is the recognition of self can't get out of self. It leaves a carcass that now has become known, and it tries to say it's the knower of that carcass, and now it wants to spend a lot of time doing autopsies on that carcass. It's dead. Now all that knowledge avails us nothing, because we're still in the sense of being bound by self. Self-knowledge is dead. It neuters everything. So you learn about the you that you're not, and then that learning is now held as the you that you're not. That knowledge is dead in a way. This is the part we're not seeing, is that the seeing of all this, of that which has defeated us, has been claimed by that which has defeated us. Yeah. It's now the new enlightened seer of that which has defeated it. Yeah. It's insane. Ultimately, you are what you're looking for. And all the looking for it is a way of denying that, in a way.